Hello and welcome to Third Power Life Podcast. Today we have my interview with Dr. Brooke Silberhorn, an amazing chiropractor, and we're going to talk about chiropractic, business challenges, life balance, and so much more. Tune in.
So, the big question is this: how are successful professionals like us going to keep increasing our business success and yet still have a full, balanced, and vibrant life that we absolutely love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Dan Gentry, and welcome to Third Power Life Podcast.
All right, I want to welcome everybody to the Third Power Life Podcast, and I am super excited today because my guest is one of my favorite people in the entire world. It's Dr. Brooke Silberhorn. She is just an absolutely wonderful chiropractor, my personal chiropractor, and just an expert on all things that have to do with your mental your neural connections. There we go.
Yes.
So anyway, I want to say welcome and thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. Now, I always like to know kind of what's people's backstory. How did you get involved in chiropractic, and basically why do you do what you do? So what's the story?
So growing up, I remember tagging along with my parents to the chiropractors from a very young age. They went even before I was born, mainly for, back issues, spinal issues. But I recall as a young child, my younger sister getting adjusted because she walked with one foot kind of turned in. So she was pigeon-toed. And then around the time that my mom was pregnant with my younger brother, they switched chiropractors because their previous chiropractor didn't really adjust pregnant women. He didn't have a table for that. The new guy did. And so they switched.
Okay.
Mom gave birth to my younger brother, and Cole had what is described as baby acne. And Dr. Abens basically just said, listen, let me check him. Birth is traumatic to the nervous system, and if I need to adjust him, and I do, his body will clear that up right away. And they did, and it went away. And I really honestly don't remember the first time that I got adjusted, but it was around that time.
Gotcha.
So my family was kind of the crazy people who, instead of going to the medical doctor when we were sick, we went to the chiropractor. I grew up in Iowa, and I have vivid memories of like winter storms where most people would cancel their appointment to the chiropractor, and my dad would be on the phone. Hey, do you have cancellations? We're coming over. We would pile into he worked for a utility company, so we would pile into his bucket truck and drive the 20-mile drive to go to the chiropractor in a snowstorm. So we were kind of the crazy family who went to the chiropractor and high schooler. And even as I got older, it was like chiropractic was a little more well received, but it still was, don't tell people we go to the chiropractor because they'll think that we're crazy. So that's a little bit of my backstory with chiropractic, but it probably was when I was in middle school where I started paying attention to the information that he had in his office, the posters on the wall that showed the connection between the nervous system, the spine, and the rest of the body and function. And then also when there's dysfunction, what symptoms and disorders can occur when your nervous system isn't fully connected with your body.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
I know that, for me, I've always been kind of the crazy person, but for different reasons. But I've always enjoyed chiropractic myself personally. Just makes me feel better, and there are a lot of people that I talk to when I talk about going to the chiropractor, and it's like, oh, did you have an accident, or does your back hurt, or there's always this assumption that there's pain, or there's something wrong. That's why you go to the chiropractor.
Right.
Is that a valid thought?
It is valid, but it's limited.
Okay.
So, and it's probably my biggest frustrations as a chiropractor. But what a lot of people don't realize, because I hear it all the time. Oh, I'm so glad I've never needed a chiropractor. I'm so glad that I don't have back pain. But the reality is that chiropractors are not back doctors. We work with the spine for the pure and simple reason that we're actually nervous system doctors. So the spine houses and protects your spinal cord. It protects the nerve roots that exit off the spinal cord and go to literally every cell in your body. Your brain and your nervous system are what control the function of every cell, tissue, organ, and organ system in your body. And so if there is a disconnect between your nervous system and your body is not going to function well. So chiropractors don't necessarily treat any disorder or symptom, but because we have such an impact on function, by making sure that there's that clear connection between the brain and the body, chiropractors see people's bodies heal from all different kinds of things. Kids with autism spectrum disorders start having better function overall, ear infections, ADHD, infertility, all of these things. Again, not that we're treating those things, but that when we focus on the restoration of function and health in the body,
right.
Your body is amazing and is designed to heal itself. So I always tell my patients, like, really what I do is not the miracle. I'm not a miracle worker. All I do is kind of remind your body to do what it's designed to do, which is to heal itself and to function at 100%.
Gotcha. It's interesting that it's actually not that much different from in that context of what I'm doing with, coaching people for the life balance and getting your mindset right in the right direction, and everything else will kind of fall into place. So you're helping with the physical nervous connections, and I'm helping with the with the mental nervous connection. It's actually
definitely.
I hadn't really thought about it until this point, that we actually kind of do similar things, just different methodologies.
Right.
A question that I like to ask people a lot of times is, what is your superpower? What makes you special? What makes you really good at what you do? Because we're talking about changing people's minds and changing the way that the nervous energy flows and all of that. That's a big deal. So what makes you special? What makes you able to do that?
That's probably the hardest question that I've ever been asked.
Excellent. My job is done.
Excellent. Part of me wants to say there's nothing really special about me and what I do. And at the same time, I've been given a gift to be able to do these things. It's interesting because I am very perceptive. So the technique that I use is called network spinal, and it is not your typical bone is out of alignment and we push it back into place. And so the technique that I do is different, and it requires you to be very perceptive, to feel things, to feel energy. So I'll actually, when I'm palpating someone's spine, I'll feel areas where energy is basically bound up. So areas that are very energy rich, I'll actually feel tingling sensation, and sometimes I don't even need to be touching a person's body to be able to feel that. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a superpower because I'm not the only one that can do that. But it is different and unique. Not everyone can do that. Mm-hmm. So I think my superpower really just stems from the training that I've had, and always striving to learn and grow, and not being, not settling for where I'm at, just knowing that there's more that I can learn, there's more that I can do to become better as a practitioner, as an individual, and yeah, we'll say that that's my superpower, is that I love learning and growing.
Very cool. Well, I can say from personal experience, because you and I have known each other for a number of years now, but you definitely have the ability to connect with people, and to there's a lot of, I guess, empathy, but that's part of what makes for a good doctor in general, but
Right.
very specifically for what you're doing, is being able to kind of feel where people are, and that sensitivity. And while that may not make you unique, yes, there are other people that can do that, but not a lot.
Right.
It is definitely not something that is prevalent everywhere. So
Right.
give yourself credit where credit is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm curious, what is, I guess, the biggest issue that you see your clients, your patients, that have, that chiropractic can help them get past?
I see a broad spectrum of issues. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to say there's one main thing.
Gotcha.
But I guess if I were to put it under an umbrella, and it's not even really a condition, so to speak, but people are disconnected. Mm-hmm. And it's literal, in that, on a nervous system level, they're disconnected. But I feel like our society, so not only are they disconnected on a nervous system level, they're disconnected from themselves, they're disconnected from the people around them, they're disconnected from God or whatever, whatever they believe in, their source. And that just really points to where we are at as a society. So people are hurting, they're in pain, they're not functioning optimally. And so when you're disconnected in yourself, and you're in pain, or your body's not functioning properly, you take it out on other people. And so I guess that, not just in my practice, but society as a whole, that is the biggest problem that we see and we face. And so I view part of my job is not just to help take this symptom away from a person. Again, that's not what I do.
Right.
But it's really to help people to be connected in their body and in themselves as a whole.
Yeah, I would say that again, there's a lot of connection between what you and I are doing. I think a couple of days ago, I was out on my morning walk and listening to different things. And one of the things that came to me, I posted it, I think on Instagram and everywhere else, but it said, the greatest threat that we face is not, it's not death, it's not famine, it's not, loneliness or anything like that. The greatest threat we face is apathy and indifference. And it really comes down to what you were saying. It's that connection. We lost our connection to each other, even to our own selves. We spend all day staring at one of these rather than actually made the world move there. Rather than actually be introspective and actually have that prayer and meditation time and to really connect with ourselves, with God, with our higher power, with our neighbors. How many neighbors do you actually know? Right.
Yeah.
Now I can be, I know this is going to surprise you, but I can be a little bit of an outgoing person and all of that. So I actually do know my neighbors, but it's like, come on, give me your name. Come on, you can do it. Right. And
I had the observation when Hurricane Irma hit that, like, we talked more with our neighbors in that like day and a half following Hurricane Irma than we had in the months prior. And we do actually know a lot of our neighbors, not like not everyone. We're on a cul-de-sac, so we know the ones that are right there the most, and then a handful down the street farther. But it was interesting to me that it was like people were out and walking down the street and talking with people that they had never even met because we had nothing else to do, actually.
Amazing what lack of electricity can do.
Right.
But it is amazing. And it's business and personal life, everything, having that connection makes it so much better. So I kind of switch gears here for a little bit, because this podcast is really there are a lot of business people that listen in. What has been the biggest obstacle for you in your business and getting your business to run smoothly?
Me.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So probably just awareness that I exist. So marketing. And then when I say me, it's in part because I don't feel like I'm a great salesperson. I'm learning to be better at sales. And I think regardless of your profession, whether you are a service professional or you have a product that you sell, you still have to sell. So that's something that I'm learning. Having systems in place, again, is something else that I'm learning. So I came from working for someone else, and they didn't have strong systems. And so I kind of just jumped into my own practice. Like, I can do this. I've been a chiropractor for almost 10 years. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. So those are some of the things that are stretching me, that I'm learning, that I'm seeing that I can improve upon to not only grow my business, but just provide a better service for my clients. And the last thing that I would say is, again, something that I've learned in the last year that really was eye-opening for me is knowing your values. My highest value is not money.
Right.
And that can, hinder business growth. if you aren't aware of it, if you can't actually tie your highest value to growing your business and to making money, you're just gonna like innately do the things that are in your highest values, which for me is my family. So I don't really like going to lots of networking things that interfere with me being at home with my family. So I tend to, and I'm learning now that my girls are in school, like I have this window of time that I can do as much networking as I can outside of my, patient adjusting hours in the mornings when my kids are at school. So that has opened things up for me. And my mindset has changed around networking in general because
Right.
I'm more introverted. I love people, but it doesn't energize me as much to go out and talk to 20 people. But anyway, I would say that those are the things that I have seen for me have been difficulties that I'm learning to overcome and stretch myself and grow so that I can in fact grow my business.
Right. Absolutely. Very cool. Now I know that that you know this about me, but I'm huge on life balance. That's kind of my core thing. Do you find that being a chiropractor and having your own practice, do you find it difficult to create life balance? Or do you have life balance? Is that even a reality for you?
I think it's something that we all strive for. And I think that there are times where you're going to be out of balance, and you just need to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. Something that I have learned recently is that everything, it's like there's always, it's not either or, it's both and.
Yep.
Like about a month ago, this is the story of my life, it seems like, but about a month ago, my husband tore the carpet out of our younger daughter's bedroom and to replace the flooring. In the process, discovered that there was an exterior water spigot that had been leaking. And so it created, this bigger issue that needed to be dealt with. And so her bedroom was basically strewn all over our house for 2 weeks. And so, life seemed very chaotic, but at the same time, my business was very ordered. So I find that it's like there's order and chaos, and it really is kind of like a juggling act of life, that you will be out of balance and in balance at the same time, and just like prioritizing your day. That's just like,
and that's absolutely the way that it works, because what I always tell people is, having a truly balanced life is, it's not, you're never actually going to, everything is, it's perfect. And, there's always going to be imbalance. And there, it's like, there's a great, a friend of mine, mentor, Dan, Thurman. Love it when the brain goes away. But he does this thing where he does a handstand on top of the lectern when he does a talk, and he's like, am I balanced right now? He goes, no, I'm balancing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a constant. It's like driving a car. You don't just drive straight. There's always little things. So you're always adjusting, because you've always got this chaos that happens in life. It's just part of if you don't have chaos, it's called being dead.
Right.
There's nothing happening in your life at all.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of knowing what's important and making sure that you're not forgetting a part of life. It's not that, I'm going to spend as much time at church as I do at work and with the kids and all. No, it's that you're continually working and continually growing, and that you've got church taken care of, and you've got the kids taken care of, and you've got the business taken care of, and that everything is not equal. But everything is taken care of, and where you're happy with where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it reminds me of the principle in the body, homeostasis. Like, the reality is the body is never like this. It's ebbing and flowing, just depending on what your needs are, your environment, outside your body, inside your body. So homeostasis is trying to bring you back to this, but again, you're never always this.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard it said that like doctors go like in the ER or in the hospital, if they go in and somebody has a perfectly regular heartbeat, they're really worried. That person's in trouble, because there's always little flutters and little different. But if it's just exactly, then there's something wrong, and they're actually in trouble.
Yeah.
I always found that to be kind of an interesting. Yeah, because I would think, no, I want it to be regular. No, you don't. You want the little flutters and little.
Right.
So, but yeah, interesting. Now I'm curious for you. Do you have a coach and mentors, and how important is it to have kind of people that are helping guide you to, with the little flutters in life that tend to come up? How important is that for you?
Incredibly important. Incredibly important. Yes. So, I mean, obviously, you have been a mentor in my life, helped me during probably one of the deepest crises that I experienced in my fledgling business, almost 3 years ago. So I do incredibly value coaching, mentoring, and your program especially. More recently, I have had a couple different coaches and mentors in business, and their focus was a lot on entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, those pieces, as well as mindset. And then most recently with another, again, more mindset, and then a little bit of the sales and marketing stuff. But it's interesting what you said earlier about mindset. Just the work to kind of like make an adjustment in your brain and rewire your neurology and things like that. So that's what I've been working on most recently, which is just amazing, and can see in myself through all of the work that I've done in the last 3 years with various coaches and mentors, that I am a different person than I was then. The chaos hasn't gone away. The stress hasn't gone away. Life just changes, obviously, first of all. So your stress and chaos changes, but how you handle it. And so I see for myself, like, the way that I handle the chaos is so different. And being able to kind of like see the big picture and just not be so emotionally charged over things, where I would be like a ball of nerves and crying and like just absolutely, crazy with my emotions. Now it's like, okay, so where do I see both sides of this? Where's the benefits of this thing that I perceive to be just horrible? And, you know, where are the drawbacks of things that I am super elated about and think are just the shit? So.
Yes. And I found it to be so true that anytime we've got the struggles and the difficulties, that there's always a lesson in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I believe that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes it's an absolute pain to try to figure out what that reason is. I'm like, is there some other way that I can learn this without having to go through all this stuff? But apparently not. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, I definitely highly recommend.
All right. So I guess my kind of last question is, how do you actually define ultimate success? You know, society has so many different kind of thoughts about, well, in order to be successful, you have to have, you know, the $1 million mansion and, you know, your own private yacht. And, you know, there's all of these interesting thoughts about what is really ultimate success. I'm curious that for you, what does ultimate success look like, both business and personal?
So this is something that I have wrestled with even just in the last week, kind of realizing that I had ideas of what success were, and they really were unachievable because they weren't authentic to me. Setting myself up for, yes. So really what I would say, true success is being authentic to yourself. That you're not subordinating to what other people want for you. That you are not, you know, I mean, even just for me having my own practice, in chiropractic, there's a large population of chiropractors that would say you're not successful unless you're seeing so many patient visits per week.
Right.
Serving as many people as you can. And, you know, the higher the number, the greater you are. And so I, like, for a long time, I held myself to that standard and felt like failure. And then when I realized, it's like, well, that's not authentic to me and my values as a mom. And so now, again, like, this is just a journey that I've been on to become more authentic to myself and my values, and being confident in the decisions that I make for myself, my business, my family, that what I view as being successful may not be success to somebody else, and that's okay, because we're not the same. Right. So definitely authenticity.
Very cool. Yeah, I know I had a mentor that told me that you've got to be very careful when trying to measure your success. You know, you can't compare yourself to someone else. Both, you know, how far along they are in their journey, because, you know, you don't know where they've been and what they've had to go through to get to where they are. But two, it needs to be your success. It's not somebody else's success. It's for you. And so it's just.
Well, even just, you know, for me, it's like, yes, I want to have a nice home and I want to drive a decent car, but I'm not a car person. Like, I don't really care that much. Right. You know, I don't really want to have a boat. So there are a lot of things that are status success symbols that are just not things that I desire. And so I'm okay with that. Like, again, like you said, success is different for each individual.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. For those that may want to get in touch with you, find out more information about either chiropractic or your practice itself, what is the best way for somebody to find out information about Dr. Brooke?
Well, you can go to my website, which is thrivewithchiro at thrivewithchiro.com. Sorry, my email is thrivewithchiro@gmail.com. Okay. And yeah, we're on Facebook. So Facebook is probably where we're most active. And that is Thrive Chiropractic Ocala is our Facebook page.
Awesome. Very cool. And I will, I'll make sure to put those into the description on this episode. So I definitely, I appreciate your time. This has been fantastic.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Absolutely. So that's our episode for today. So until next time, live your life to the third power. Thank you for listening to my podcast. But before you go, would you like to have somebody help you create more balance in your life? Do you have difficulties juggling all of the different things that are pulling on us for our time, for our attention? I have a program that I have just created called the Life Balance Academy. It's a 6-week program, full life balance training, everything that I've been teaching over the past 20 years, consolidated into one 6-week program. This is something that's brand new, and I'm very excited to share with you. If you would like more information about that, you can go to my website at www.thirdpowerperformance.com. Until then, live your life to the third power.